Most people think a car payment is just another bill, something you fit into the budget, pay every month, and move on. $700, $800, maybe even $1,000 if the car is really nice. But that's not what a big car payment actually does. It doesn't just take money out of your account. It takes room out of your life. And that's why so many normal, responsible, decent income Americans are quietly getting crushed by vehicles they swear they can afford. Because the most dangerous car payment is not the one that looks insane. It's the one that looks normal. It's the one the bank approves. It's the one the dealership says is manageable. It's the one your friends say is just what cars cost now. And little by little, that normal payment starts eating your future before you even realize it. Your savings slow down. Your stress goes up. Your margin disappears. You stop feeling behind not because of one dramatic mistake, but because your paycheck has too many jobs before it even reaches you. Look, if you've ever seen somebody driving a brand new truck or loaded SUV and thought, how is everybody affording this stuff right now? Here's the truth. A lot of them aren't affording it. They're surviving it. They are making the payment. They are technically current. They are also one bad month away from feeling trapped. And that difference matters. Because in America, the dealership doesn't need the car to be affordable. They just need the monthly payment to feel survivable long enough for you to sign. That's the trap nobody talks about. Not that cars are expensive. Everybody knows that. The trap is that a payment can fit inside your month while wrecking your year. The trap is that people confuse approved with affordable. The trap is that someone can make good money, drive a beautiful vehicle, and still feel broke all the time. Take Marcus. He's 34, lives outside Dallas, makes about $78,000 a year working as a project coordinator for a logistics company. He's not reckless. He's not flashy. He's just normal. He pays rent, keeps up with bills, has a little credit card debt, some student loans still hanging around, and a 10-year-old sedan that has started doing what old cars do when they sense weakness. The AC is inconsistent. The dashboard lights have turned into suggestions. Every new sound feels expensive. He still gets where he needs to go, but he no longer trusts the car. And once trust goes, every commute starts to feel like a gamble. So one Saturday, he opens his laptop and starts doing what millions of Americans do every day. He starts just looking. That phrase alone has probably cost people more money than most scams. Because nobody ever says, "Today I'm going to sign up for 6 years of financial pressure." They say, "Let me just see what's out there." They say, "I need something reliable." They say, "I'm not trying to do anything crazy." And that's what makes the trap so effective. It doesn't begin with ego. It begins with a reasonable problem. Marcus is tired of being anxious every time he hears a weird noise. He wants reliability. He wants peace of mind. He wants the kind of car that starts every morning and doesn't turn every month into a mechanic bill. But once he starts browsing, he stops shopping for transportation and starts shopping for relief. And relief is expensive, because the internet doesn't show him a boring, dependable sedan first. It shows him confidence. It shows him a black truck with premium wheels, giant display, clean stitching, and an ad that makes every drive look like success. The car industry knows something most people don't want to admit. People do not buy vehicles with spreadsheets. They buy them with emotion, and then go looking for math that won't ruin the mood. So Marcus goes to a dealership. He tells himself he's being smart. He's going to compare options, test drive a couple things, maybe get a feel for pricing. Then the salesperson asks the question that destroys the financial logic of the next 6 years in under 10 seconds. What monthly payment are you trying to stay around? That question sounds helpful. It sounds practical. It sounds like the salesperson is respecting his budget. But that question is where the trap begins. Because the second Marcus answers with a monthly number instead of a total price, he is no longer deciding what car he can afford. He is negotiating how much pain he can tolerate per month. And those are not the same thing. That's how people walk in planning to spend $30,000 or $35,000 and somehow leave with a $55,000 truck. Not because they're stupid, because the conversation got moved from total cost to emotional comfort. Marcus sees the truck. It looks incredible. Not flashy in a ridiculous way. Just powerful, clean, finished. It looks like adulthood done right. It looks like the kind of thing a man in his 30s with a decent income should be driving. The sticker shocks him. He actually laughs when he sees it. Says there's no way. And then the salesperson hits him with a line that financially traps Americans every single day. The good news is, we can get you close to your number. Close to your number. Those 5 words have done unbelievable damage to middle-class cash flow. Because from that point on, the car does not need to be a good purchase. It just needs to be explainable. Stretch the term. Move some money around. Inflate the trade-in value. Shift focus to the down payment. Reframe the whole thing as just a little more per month for a lot more car. That is how absurd purchases start sounding reasonable. They are not selling you a vehicle anymore. They are selling you a monthly emotion. And Marcus tells himself all the things people tell themselves when the numbers are stretching, but the desire feels justified. He says he works hard. He says he deserves something better. He says his old car was becoming unreliable. He says he'll keep this one a long time. He says the payment is high, but manageable. Manageable is one of the most dangerous words in personal finance. Because most of the time it really means this only works if nothing goes wrong. No job interruption. No rent increase. No major repair. No medical bill. No family emergency. No bad timing. Just years of life behaving itself, which is not how life works. And this is where the trap gets people. Not because the first payment ruins them. Because at first, the payment feels fine. That's why the system works. If it hurt immediately, fewer people would do it. The pain comes in quietly. The truck looks amazing in the driveway. Marcus feels proud. He parks farther out just to glance back at it. He volunteers to drive. He likes the way people look at it. He likes the way he looks in it. For a couple weeks, it feels like progress. Like he's finally not the guy driving the tired sedan anymore. That feeling is real. But it is also rented. And rented feelings are expensive. By the second month, it still feels okay. By the third month, he notices that payday doesn't feel as spacious as it used to. By the fourth month, the insurance premium hits, and it's higher than he mentally planned for. Then gas feels heavier. Then registration. Then a tire quote makes him physically angry. Then the truck starts costing him money in all the places he forgot to imagine. Because the car payment is never really the full cost. It's the cover charge. Once you're inside, everything else is overpriced too. That's the part people don't understand until they live it. They think they bought an $820 payment. What they actually bought was an ownership ecosystem. More insurance because the vehicle is worth more. More gas because bigger vehicles drink more. More expensive maintenance because bigger tires and parts cost more. More tax. More registration. More pressure. The payment is just the most visible number. The real cost is everything that starts orbiting around it. So now Marcus is not just paying for transportation. He is paying for a machine that has to be fed from multiple directions every month. And because the truck looks like success, nobody around him sees the drain. That's what makes this such a brutal middle-class trap. It's socially rewarded while financially corrosive. People see the vehicle and assume you're doing well. They do not see the tighter checking account, the slower savings, the delayed investing, the background anxiety, the internal negotiations every time another expense pops up. This is why a big car payment doesn't usually blow up your life in one dramatic scene. It compresses your life instead. That's the word. Compression. You still make the payment, but now the rest of the month has less room. Less room for saving. Less room for surprises. Less room for fun. Less room for error. Your money gets tighter, then your decisions get tighter, then your whole life starts to feel tighter. And because it happens gradually, a lot of people never connect the feeling of being stuck to the thing sitting in their driveway. Marcus starts noticing little changes. He puts less into savings because he wants to keep more in checking. He tells himself he'll restart once things settle down. He lets his credit card balance ride a little longer one month, then another. He skips upgrading things he actually needs. He starts calculating basic weekend plans in his head in a way he didn't before. Not because he's broke, because he has less room than his income should give him. A decent income with no margin feels strangely similar to not making enough. And a lot of Americans confuse those two things all the time. Then comes the psychological part nobody warns you about. Once you commit to a big payment, your brain starts defending the purchase. Because humans hate admitting they made an expensive mistake. So Marcus starts saying things like, well, at least I'm reliable now. Or, cars are just expensive these days. Or, everybody has a payment. And that last one is especially dangerous. Because other people are doing it too. Has justified more bad money decisions than almost any logic in the world. Most people are financially stressed. Most people normalize debt. Most people do not build wealth efficiently. So building your life around what feels normal to most people is a great way to end up with normal stress and normal regret. And there's another layer to this. A lot of people are not just financing transportation. They are financing identity. The truck is not merely a truck. It is proof that Marcus is growing up, moving up, doing okay. It tells a story. It says he's not struggling. It says he has taste. It says he's not the guy driving the old sedan anymore. That's powerful. But the second a purchase becomes part of your identity, it gets much harder to question. Because now getting rid of it feels like shrinking. Even when keeping it is clearly costing you too much. This is why car payments are so much more dangerous than they look on paper. A bad restaurant meal annoys you, and then it's over. A bad vacation decision stings and fades. A car payment follows you home every month and starts rewriting your behavior. It changes what you say yes to. It changes what you postpone. It changes how aggressively you save. It changes how safe you feel. And if the payment is big enough, it doesn't just cost you money. It costs you momentum. Let's do the part people avoid because it kills the fantasy. Imagine Marcus's truck payment is $845 a month. Add more for insurance compared to the old car. Add extra fuel. Add maintenance sinking fund money. Add registration and random ownership costs. Suddenly the truck is not really costing him $845. It's costing his life well over $1,000 a month. That is a huge amount of financial energy to devote to something that goes down in value every year and mostly sits parked. Now think about what that same money could do somewhere else. If someone redirects even a chunk of that into paying off high-interest debt, building an emergency fund, investing for retirement, or simply creating breathing room, the effect compounds fast. That's the quiet tragedy of oversized car payments. They don't always make people visibly poorer. They make them invisibly delayed. Delayed savings, delayed investing, delayed flexibility, delayed peace, delayed freedom. People think the car is costing them a payment. What it's really costing them is time. Now someone always says, yeah, but I need a reliable car. Of course, reliability matters. But reliable and expensive are not synonyms. Reliable and fully loaded are not synonyms. Somewhere along the way, Americans started treating "I need dependable transportation" like it automatically justifies a near luxury purchase. It doesn't. A reliable car is a tool. An overfinanced car is a lifestyle statement you keep paying interest on. Then life does what life always does. Rent goes up. Groceries stay annoying. A medical expense shows up. A family member needs help. Your company changes direction. This is when people realize the payment was never the issue by itself. The issue was fragility. The issue was building a life that only works in calm weather. And one of the fastest ways to create fragility is to lock in a large depreciating payment for years. The really painful moment comes later. Marcus checks his loan balance after many months of paying faithfully, and the number is still depressingly high. The car gets older. The excitement fades. The balance stays heavier than expected. That realization hits people like a slap. They've been paying for all this time, and yet they still don't feel free. And that's where a lot of people make the second mistake. They trade out too early and roll negative equity into the next vehicle. This is one of the ugliest habits in American personal finance because it takes one bad decision and buries it inside another one. Now the next payment is not just for the next car. It's carrying the ghost of the last mistake too. People think they upgraded. In reality, they refinance their stress. Marcus nearly does exactly that. But eventually, he has a hard conversation with himself. He stops asking whether he likes the truck. He stops asking whether it looks good. He asks the only question that matters. Is this vehicle helping my life, or is my life rearranging itself around this vehicle? That question changes everything. Because a car should support your life. It should not become the central character in your monthly budget. The moment your vehicle starts competing with your emergency fund, your retirement contributions, your debt payoff, your peace of mind, and your flexibility, it is too expensive. I don't care whether the bank says yes. Banks approve debt, not peace. Dealers sell cars, not margin. You are the one who has to live inside the consequences. So Marcus makes the painful decision. He gets out. He takes the hit while it's still survivable. He buys something used, dependable, and dramatically less exciting. And for about 2 weeks, his ego hates it. Then something strange happens. He sleeps better. He checks his account and sees space. He can put money into savings again without doing mental gymnastics. He can handle a surprise expense without immediately feeling squeezed. He doesn't feel flashy. He feels stable. And stable is worth way more than flashy if your goal is to actually build a life. That's the thing so many Americans miss. They think wealth is supposed to look a certain way. They think it should have leather seats and a giant screen and a brand new smell. But real wealth often looks boring in public and peaceful in private. It looks like low fixed costs. It looks like options. It looks like margin. It looks like not panicking when something goes wrong. It looks like being able to invest consistently, save aggressively, and make choices from a position of strength instead of image. So here's the rule. If your car payment is slowing your savings, delaying your investing, keeping debt alive, increasing your stress, or making your month feel fragile, the car is too expensive. Not because you can't technically make the payment. Because the payment is taking too much from the rest of your life. A good car should get you where you need to go. It should not take your future with it. And maybe that's the biggest lie in modern car buying. That as long as the monthly number doesn't look insane, you're fine. No. You are not fine just because the bill is possible. Affordability is not the same as survivability. A payment can be survivable and still be sabotaging your long-term finances. A payment can look normal and still be the reason you feel stuck. So the next time you see somebody in a brand new truck or loaded SUV and part of you thinks, maybe I should just do it too, stop for a second. Remember that you are only seeing the vehicle. You are not seeing the payment, the insurance, the fuel, the maintenance, the opportunity cost, the trade-offs, or the stress. You are seeing the surface of a decision, not the weight of it. And if you choose the less exciting car because it gives you more room to save, invest, breathe, and stay flexible, that does not mean you're behind. It probably means you're one of the few people actually moving forward.